You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
In uncertain times, we could use someone to lean on. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma will stand by you with plan options to fit your budget. If you've recently lost your job, had a baby, or moved, you can still get the healthcare coverage you and your family need. Financial help may be available for those who qualify. Call 855-452-BLUE or visit hereforyouok.com to see if you're eligible to enroll. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandra, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And welcome everyone to another episode of The Cocktail Lounge. I am your hostess for the mostest, Aggie, and with me as always is the ever suave, affable, and quaffable Brad Slager. How are you doing this evening, Brad?
How is Aggie this fine Tuesday?
I am actually wearing my footy pajamas right now. I'm cold.
Yes, you're going through a bit of a bracing dose of weather there, are you not?
Yeah, we are. It's and the thing is, everybody's like freaking out, but it's not unusual. A, it's winter. B, it's North Texas, so we do get our a nice break from hotum, as I like to call what we have here in Texas. But yeah, we dipped into the tens, the single digits this past couple of days. As a matter of fact, my lake had this really nice sheet of ice covering it. And it started to recede this afternoon, but then I started seeing that it was starting to get bigger again after the sun went down. So I'll take care of it. I'll take a picture
geese,
tomorrow. No. We've had no geese. We've had ducks. We've had several different waterfowl, but not any geese. So, which is too bad, because Mama Aggie really wanted geese this year.
Is that right? Like for the kitchen, you're saying?
Yes.
For clarity's sake, not,
No. To be clear, I wanted.
She didn't want a flock of cygnets on the water in order for the guests to feel at home. And
No. I don't want that. I know that people think it's so pretty and everything, but they make such a huge mess. And if I'm having guests, I'd rather it be clean without waterfowl than have pretty waterfowl and excrement everywhere. So.
And they're loud some bitches.
Very, very. Though not as loud as guinea fowl, which I'm seriously looking to get for next year.
Oh.
They're so cool. They're actually very cool. I've always liked them. We used to raise them when I was little. And when I told Mom this, she actually was incentivized to come visit. So the price of a couple of guinea fowls to get my parents up here to see this place, that's worth it.
Right then.
Yeah.
The plan. The wheels are moving.
Mm-hmm. And how are things over there in America's mullet?
Well, we're finally calming down just a tad, I'll say, which means everybody went back to school and I had the house to myself and I could actually get some work done today. It's a fabulous time of the year. It's been tough. I'll just say that because, with all my regular work, then I had the end of the year work, and then I had a house full of people constantly badgering me for attention. Papa, let's go outside. Hey, we have to go to the store. Oh, our friends want us to come over for a party. And yeah, it was constant and nothing got done. And I was like, finally, this week we could do it. Oh yeah, and we're off for MLK Day. Damn it. But today I had my place to myself and my schedule, so I got stuff done. couple articles, a column, got prep work for another podcast. So it's like, this is what it feels like. Cool. Accomplishments. But yeah, everything's good. And yeah, weather-wise, I'm kind of pissed because they keep promising we're going to be going down into the 40s at some point in time. And they keep pushing this forward. It's like, supposed to be the weekend. Then last week they pushed it to tomorrow. And now it's being pushed again to Sunday. And it's like, sons of bitches. So I'm still in shorts, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, lucky son of it. And okay, fine, whatever.
Yes. But it makes for good football viewing weather. It's like I was out at the Dolphin game last week, and I think it was about 60, 65 degrees, just ideal. So that was good. And then this weekend, did you catch any of the games?
I caught a few. Yes, I did. It was quite an interesting. Let's just say it was a very interesting football weekend with very interesting developments.
Yeah, my brood being Buffalo fans that they are were keenly aware of all the machinations going on with the Buffalo game because they got crap hammered with snow over the weekend. And it's everybody's like, they can play in this. They're the Bills. And that wasn't the problem. It was the governor of New York calling for travel advisories. Nobody could get into the area. And we saw this firsthand almost because a couple of our friends are not just Bills fans, but they have the sweet life. They actually had managed to get season tickets and they fly up for the games.
Oh.
Bastards. I'm not at all jealous of you. So we were watching the game live, Miami and Buffalo, last game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Miami.
It was a house divided.
Yes. And we were actually walking around the stadium, checking all the stuff out before the game, and cop even stopped us. He's like, "Excuse me, I can't tolerate this." And she gets nervous, and I was like, "The hell's up with you?" And he was giving us grief because she's in Bills gear, and I was in my Dolphin Finkel jersey, yes. And he's like, I might have to cite you for this, gross public negligence right here.
Please tell me she took it in good stride.
Well, yeah, she did, except she was very nervous because her friend about 30 minutes earlier had climbed back into his truck to go hotboxing.
Okay, wait. Okay, hold up. Explain it to me like I'm 5. What is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. He enjoys cannabis consumption, and so
okay.
Go in the truck with the windows up and smoke ardently until he reaches an appropriate level. So we're walking along, and the cop stops us, and the first thing she's like, "Holy shit, he can smell him." So, and I'm seeing her. It's like, I'm shooting her looks. And it's like, it's a gag, honey. He's like, but him. And she's like gesturing to Jim. And I'm like, oh, yeah, right. And so I'm like, getting boisterous. And, oh, yeah, we put up with her. Meanwhile, I'm sliding between him and the cop. And he keeps looking at it. And then I would back up. And Jim's like, the fuck you doing? I was like, dude, okay, you smell like a spare tire on the Grateful Dead tour bus. He's like, oh, you're right.
That is precious.
So we had like about 5 minutes of that, it's like, get downwind.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I don't think they don't do much. I mean, every time we tailgate, I go around walking the entire parking lot and see what everybody's doing and partying up and stuff like that. And I think I smelled marijuana about 3 or 4 times. So down here, people don't really care.
Alice saying the cop knew, and I'm thinking, oh, he totally knew, and it's like, this is not big enough for me to even deal with, and just walked on.
Yeah. But I will say this, I found out something really cool, because where he parks, they get the same spot, and he's had it for like 20 years. And they were kind of pissed off because somebody had jumped one of their spots. They usually get 3 spots right there in the very front, right next to the stadium. As soon as the gates opened, and somebody had just beat. So we had to back up to 1 spot. And they were like Like, I think we can handle this, guys. We're good. So we go walking in, and they're showing me all the new stuff because of the F1 race, and they built the paddock area and stuff.
Mhm.
They have a butcher shop inside the stadium now.
Oh my word.
And he's telling me about these. Like, yeah, because 3 games ago we had to run over, and Jeremiah or somebody had to run in and grab a steak because we came up short. Like, stop. This is too cool. Literally a full-scale shop. One cooler had an entire rack of tomahawks, uncut. I was like, holy, I didn't even want to ask what the price of that would be. And the funny thing is
can't
this,
even
they
imagine.
had, that was like a big stand-up cooler, but then next to it was a big coffin cooler with all the pre-cut vacuum sealed steaks, and they look all pretty good, T-bones and sirloins and this and that. I was like, damn, you guys serious. And then they told us whatever we buy, we could walk across to where the garages are at, because they opened some of the garages up to have like party areas. One was a bar, one was an eating area, stuff like that. He's like, if you go over to the Bay 23 right there, they'll cook it for you too. Holy shit,
Oh,
this is so
get. Are you serious? Dang.
Now, this is what was funny though. We were like walking in, and looks at me, and she's like, holy crap, we gotta leave. I'm like, why? And they just had, like a stand-up cooler, some other drinks and sodas and stuff, and then they had a bag of chips. It wasn't even the family size. It was just like a semi-large bag of Lay's. $19.
$19?
Yeah.
My good
And the
God.
funny thing is, I'm in the meat cooler and I'm digging up. I got a porterhouse in my hand, and it was 17. What's that? Who does this? Like, the steaks I expected to be exorbitant. A bag of Lay's for $19. Like, who falls for this? Really? Seriously?
People with kids. People with
some
kids.
of the
will
meat
fall.
was actually cheaper. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because most kids don't want to eat a steak, but they will die for tips. Seriously. They
Anyway,
the
Dolphins lost that game, the
Mm-hmm.
POSs that they are, which means they had to go on the road to Kansas City and play in 0 degrees.
Yeah, that was a really... Well, I don't know. I didn't get to watch that game. Gee, why was that, Brad? Why couldn't I watch that game?
Fill us in with the drama.
Oh, I don't know. It has to do with the little fancy bird app. Stupid peacock. I'm telling you, this whole, for the first time ever, we're doing history by televising playoff game on.
I love that.
On Peacock. And I'm going,
it into history. Like, no,
why is this historical?
to-
This is stupid.
You're driving people to your failing streaming services. And then I think it was halftime or so, Mike Tirico.
No, they were honestly, they were driving Swifties to it. That's what they were
But
doing.
the other game, the next day, I think NBC did another game, and they were like, and it was a historical moment when the Miami Dolphins squared off against the Kansas City Chiefs on Peacock. Record attendance, most watched sporting event on streaming, 24 million, and going on and on about it. It's like, you fuckers. Gouging people to watch a playoff game, and you're bragging about it. But chase yourself, Tirico. But yeah, it was a kind of a dismal game from our perspective. Being Miami fans, I was in our tavern watching with the fans, and didn't go well. The team didn't fare too well in those frigid conditions, and I was perplexed by this. I didn't expect much from Miami, because going into the game, I think they were 0-10 in the last games below 30 degrees that they played in. So we weren't really in our wheelhouse, as they say. I'm watching Tua, and I'm sitting there cracking up because they said, yeah, we're going to win because it's Tua below. Get it? And then they showed Taylor Swift about 75 damn times during the game. Taylor was chilly. She was chilly up in the... Somebody had to come and scrape the window because she couldn't see through the window of the skybox there. Kansas City. It's blurry with the frost.
I'm like, she had a coat. How could she be chilly? It was a big ass coat too.
Hey, How about this,
I know,
princess?
because when I was watching the Cowboys game, they cut away from the game during a play so that they could focus on Taylor Swift walking in. Okay. I was like, you have got to be shitting me. There was an actual play going on. It wasn't even a timeout or a commercial or, people discussing the next play or what. No, the play was going on, and they cut away from that for the news that she was actually entering through the tunnel to go up to the box. I'm
Breaking
like,
news right now. Taylor Swift has entered the parking lot area. We're going to keep a skywatch on this one. Apparently, she's coming out of the passenger door. Looks like yes, it is her. We've confirmed it is her now. She's resplendent in red and yellow regalia. We can't quite read the number, but assumptions are it belongs to Kelsey. Yes, it's Travis Kelsey. 87 is on her jacket. He sons up. I saw her they were scraping the window, and it's like, Princess, I've been to that stadium. You can open that window. You can slide it open and get a clear view of the game. Oh, but that would be too frosty.
And the thing is, it's not her doing this. It's the media doing this.
Oh, I
know. It's the NFL doing this. She is just supporting the guy she's dating at the moment. We don't know how long for, but yeah, that's all she's doing. But the media treats it like it's royalty, and I'm like, don't.
And one friend of mine, Bob, we were watching the game, so Kelsey catches a pass, and of course, flash cut. There she is up in the skybox cheering. Woo! Very next play, pass to Kelsey, hits him in the hands, and the dipshit drops the ball. And my friend Bob lights up. He's like, "Where's the shot? Where is she? What's her reaction? Let's show it." And Kelsey dropped about 4 or 5 passes that game. And every time he was getting more livid. It's like, "You're not showing Taylor now, are you?" Okay, Bob, maybe you switch to coffee. I understand the Dolphins are playing like dog crap, but
yeah.
And this is the thing I couldn't figure out. I watched Tua throw a pass downfield to Tyreek Hill, 40 yards, hits him, touchdown, fantastic, cool. At least 3 times he tried to throw a screen pass and could not do that. Like, the player is 5 or 10 yards away from him sideways and hits the ground, goes over his head, behind him. It's like, what are you doing? And yeah, we pretty much by halftime, I was like, yeah, we don't have a prayer.
Well,
just not there. And our defense, we were racked. We had, I think, 6 starters out, and
I say we loosely. I speak we as in I'm from Texas, so I was watching the Cowboys game simply because my family was watching it.
My God, that game.
I'm like, I didn't want to snicker, and I really didn't want to laugh because I was FaceTiming with my sister. She was wearing the Cowboys jersey, the Cowboys pants, the Cowboys flip-flops, the Cowboys everything, earrings, bracelet, and you name it, she was wearing it. And I think she even had blue eyeshadow, but I wasn't sure. And she was like, and the thing was, we didn't FaceTime throughout the whole game. It was like maybe once every quarter for about 5 or 10 minutes. We'd FaceTime, and because I guess she needed somebody to yell at. And I don't know where my brother-in-law was, but I was pretty sure that none of my other siblings wanted anything to do with the Cowboys, so she called me. And she's like, I can't believe this is happening, and blah blah blah. And I have to keep this neutral face and keep thinking, it's still early in the game, nothing, it's never as bad as it seems. No, it was as bad as it seemed, possibly worse than what it seemed.
Yeah, like Miami didn't have a good game, but at least we weren't Dallas.
Yeah, that's pretty much what and
it
was almost, I was starting to question whether or not Dak was doing this on purpose. Seriously,
it was bad that they're playing at home. I mean,
Hmm.
we're talking about a home field advantage. You guys had it. And I mean,
And
Green Bay
it
just
wasn't
was
like they
all over it.
had the weather against them because it
No.
was, it was a nice temperature inside the stadium.
But you
So
want
it
to talk
wasn't.
about shots cutting to the skybox? That game, it was delicious because as Dallas falls behind by 21, then 28, then 30, they kept shooting up to the box where Jimmy Jones is at. And he's like turned sideways. He's bent over. He was like beside himself.
Jimmy Jones
And
or Jimmy Johnson or Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones, I'm trying
Jerry
to say.
Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always get those two flipped.
Jimmy
Jimmy
Jones
Johnson, Jerry Jones,
is the
and
sandwich
then,
place.
yeah, it's like the sub shop. I'm like, the three of them I always flip. But yeah, he
Oh my
was not
gosh.
doing well.
Okay, you have to. I have to interrupt you because Mike just posted the greatest GIF ever for the Cowboys. I believe he made that GIF. It's in the chat.
There's always next year.
Poor Dak. Oh my God.
No, there's I I forget who the follower is, but it was like somebody on Twitter. I think her husband is the Dallas fan, and she's just kind of a placid one. But she's like, "Holy crap, these guys are getting their ass kicked. Send me any and all Dallas Cowboy gifts that you can," and they were freaking hilarious.
At the end of the game, I posted the little meme. You are here. There's always next
Yeah,
year.
the Dallas Cowboys cycle.
But my favorite one was the cat and the screaming women. We're going to the Super Bowl, not without tickets.
I think my favorite was the one I sent to you. Mexican word of the day is Dallas. The Cowboys just played the last game of the season.
The last game of the season.
Oh, you guys are going to the Super Bowl. No, you're not. No Super Bowl this año.
I had some Chicano guy come after me because I posted one of those early on when I first started. I think I had, I don't know, 100 followers or something like that. And he went after me and he was livid. How could I do that? I'm such a white girl and all this stuff. And I said, dude, I'm Puerto Rican. Raised in the most predominantly Mexican area in Texas. You're not doing yourself any favors. And
I think they got a few Mexican people in that state.
Yeah, just a few. But it's a funny meme, and I love it, and it's so great. When it's like the word of the day, it's so funny. Dallas.
Whoever cooks those up, though, I want to high five them because
oh, no,
they
they're
come up
great.
with some good ones sometimes.
They're great.
Like during the Dylan Mulvaney one, it was like Mexican word of the day was Budweiser.
Yeah.
She's a girl. Budweiser shorts have a lump in them. Something like that. Yeah, it was sad. But yeah, they finally played the Bills game, and the whole time, and we were just watching. We're getting updates. We got family up in Rochester nearby there, and our friends with the season tickets. So when the Dolphins shit the bed against the Bills, like that night, Christine and Mitch went online and bought airfare. Airfare to Buffalo. They were basically giving tickets away. I think she got round trip for them, $130, I want to say. It was like 65 up and 85 back, something ridiculous. The next day, airfare was like $600 to Buffalo.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like the airlines were, oh, crap, everybody's coming up here. So they just beat that. And then, it was during our game. We're texting them in the bar, and like, you guys going up? And she's like, yeah. Oh crap, they just canceled our flight because of the weather up there. That's when Hochul called the travel advisory stuff. So they flew into Boston because they've got family up there, so they could at least stay there. Then they canceled the game and put it to Monday. And she said, we still can't get out of Boston. Like, we can't go to Buffalo yet. I think they got to Buffalo Sunday night at some point in time. They were paying people to dig out the stadium. It was like the seats were buried, literally. And I've been in that stadium with snow, but not like that level. It's like we got on it, like there was snow on the top and on the edge of the seat. And it was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is unique. Florida, man, with snow. Yeah, they were literally snow shovels in the aisles trying to get that place cleaned up. They showed a couple sections that they couldn't get to, and the people were trudging through waist-high snow drifts to get to their seats.
Oh, that's
These
incredible.
are Buffalo fans.
Those are fans. I mean, that's a fan. That's a fan.
And like every single time they scored, this air just filled up with snow. Just handfuls of it tossed in the air, and this is the way they do it there. And yeah, so we were here watching the game and had people over because it was MLK Day, so everybody was off, so they can come here at 4:30 and watch. And good time for them as I silently grit my teeth. And Houston, my God, what's up with that team? Like, they figured something out over there.
Yeah, somebody on Twitter said, yeah, Texas doesn't have any good teams, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, the Texans actually won their wild card. I don't know what to tell you. And they come back with, they're going to lose. You just know it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, the point is they won a wild card.
Handily. I mean, it was
very handily. It was a good game.
Yeah, like the 11-year-old here is all into football. I mean, you could ask him who the third string quarterback on the Lions is, and he'll pop a name like that. It's like, dude, you're not well. Do some homework. I've got straight A's, Papa. It's like, all right, I'll shut up. But
I love the picture that you took with the Miami Dolphins helmet. He looks so funny in it.
Oh, the Hurricanes helmet.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Whatever. Y'all blend into one another.
You gave it to me.
I know.
I got it from you, okay?
Yes, it's just we're talking professional, not college. So.
Yeah. By the way, I think I've tracked down the provenance of that very helmet.
This got under your skin. You needed to know whose this was.
Well, it was just. I mean, I've got this game-worn helmet. I had questions. I was like, damn, this is so cool. I got to get... So I'm operating like it was the 2014 season because I did see that was the last time they had worn the green helmet. And it's like, all right, I still haven't pegged this down. Now, inside the helmet, I found the number 16. Right, okay. So I peeled back one layer of the foam and I found it. Very back upper, it said 16 on it. But 2014, it was a different green. It was the vent holes and pattern on the side were different, and it was iridescent paint. And I was like, wait, look. Had to go and find a helmet history website for the Miami Hurricanes, tracked it through 2010, and boom, there's the helmet. Matched perfectly. Grill color, holes, all of it. I was like, all right. Now I go through the roster, and there's two guys with the number 16 that year.
Process of elimination.
Yeah, we're getting better. And then, they only wore the green helmet for one game against Virginia Tech. One of the guys was the backup quarterback. Pulled up the stat sheet that game. He didn't play. So.
It had to be the other guy.
Sophomore safety by the name of James Klein. So looks like I got his helmet. I'm going to now see if I can find any video from that particular game and just do a Zapruder matchup and get it nailed down specifically. If I can find some fourth quarter footage. Do a freeze frame, get the scratches identified. There we go.
Zapruder.
This is turning into a
Law
and Order
I should
UM.
not. I know exactly. I should not make fun of you at all because I'm even worse about the whole thing. I mean, seriously, I run across a piece of furniture. I need to know who owned it, like the first owner. And I actually two of my end tables I tracked to the original owner. and I had gotten them. Those were the first two Lane acclaimed tables that I ever purchased. I purchased the two for $20 at a thrift store. I went back to the thrift store and I asked Tony, who was my dealer, and yes, I used that word in the exact same way that most drug people would. And he said he got them from this estate, and I went to that company, and and I basically tracked down the original owner. I had to know, when did you buy these tables? How? Blah blah blah. Because I was so interested in them, and I've done that with several pieces. So I cannot, in good conscience, throw stones from my glass house.
No,
I can't.
just, I get into my research mode and I just, I achieve momentum and I just keep going. So.
Yeah, you do the whole rabbit hole thing really well. Cause I mean, that's your bailiwick. That's what you do. You do research. So I can certainly understand it. Me, I'm just Hispanic. I just got to know.
You're nosy.
I'm nosy. There's a difference. It's a fine line. But yeah, I trip it.
I mean, ultimately, if I can find the game footage, I do want to get like a still shot and maybe have a, print a picture of it and get a little frame next to it when I mount this on the wall. I think it'll be cool.
That would be kind of cool to have that, a still of him wearing the helmet all beat up, and then you have the helmet all beat up.
Yeah, I mean, if I can pin that, if I can get that close, I mean, I'm just figuring out, see him on the field. But if they have any kind of any video still of him, close up to the helmet in the fourth quarter, that'd be sweet.
I would imagine the university has that footage. I mean, they keep everything.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure I can track it down, or maybe reach out to the local television station or something, pull my press credentials. I'm doing that research here for Town Hall Media. This is deeply important stuff. I need that footage immediately. Thank you very much. FOIA request. Yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be fun. But hey, speaking of investigative journalism, stumbled across this piece of crap from, hey, your state of Texas.
There's a shock. Not really. Go on.
So your governor, Greg Abbott, seems to have rankled the media a little.
Ooh, boy, has he ever.
This, I swear I'm never going to understand this. I mean, overview, yeah, we know kind of why, but how in the living hell they get away with it? The Biden administration is actually suing Texas from enforcing federal border laws.
Okay, so maybe you remember when I brought this up a while ago during the second session last, I want to say it was October, either September, October timeframe. We had I think it was a third session that we had, legislative session. And one of the things that they were going to pass, and it was, it was a bilateral, by whatever you call it, it was both Republicans and Democrats passed it. We drafted a law that completely mirrors federal law when it comes to illegal immigration. It is the exact same law that is on the federal books. That's why the Biden administration was pissed off. Because when we passed that law, we could enforce it, and the federal government could not stop us from doing so. There was no way they could do it.
Right. Exactly.
They used to be able to stop us because you're not following federal law. But the federal law was not being enforced. But our law was not the federal law, so they could stop us. See? Well, now that our law is the exact same, has almost the exact same wording. I mean, there's no way around it. It was brilliant. And so the Biden administration, when that happened, prepared to sue the state of Texas. But they had no standing because in order to file suit, they would have to admit that they were failing to enforce their own law. So the lawsuit went nowhere. And now Abbott has been enforcing this law to the point where he has pulled back Border Patrol and put National Guard in charge of the border.
And I love
And it,
this because
yes,
the federales are not doing the job by
no,
order, of
they
course, of the
can't do the
administration.
job. Yeah, they were hamstrung. And this is nothing against Border Patrol. This
No.
is the Biden administration.
This is a
They
mandate
hamstrung.
coming down.
Yes, they completely hamstrung Border and Customs and Border Patrol. And so they've been unable to do the job. And that's why Abbott pulled them back and put in NG to take care of the border. Well, then there was a tragedy, but as you're about to explain, was not our fault.
Oh, it even gets better.
Oh yeah, it gets a lot better.
So the story goes, a mother and two children were drowning as they crossed the Rio Grande River into the United States. I have to add illegally, because apparently the media isn't so interested in that little bit of minutia. And because Greg Abbott has his state agencies now operating the border, like at state parks and such, they're not even letting the federal agents in, whether it's ICE, Border Patrol, what have you. They're like, no, we got this. Back off. This is ours. You know, federalism. What's that?
Mm-hmm.
So the story as reported, and this came from a couple agencies, and CBS News broke it. The mother and kids were drowning. The federal agents wanted to get in there and go rescue them, and Abbott's mean agency from the state wouldn't let them, and the mother and kids drowned. He's killing people. Except,
Mm-hmm.
clarification number one, the state agency wasn't just like, no, you guys can't come in here, and then the guy went in the guard shack, sat down, and pulled up YouTube videos. The state agency actually went and investigated and came back and said, you know what, we got nothing. There's nothing out there. We don't see anything. Inconvenient truth number two, the death and the bodies took place on the Mexican side of the river. I mean, any correction, guys? Media, blast any headlines. Woman dies on Mexican border. No, nothing. Then today, after the Texas agency walked the federal government, by the way, Biden was out there barking like a mad dog. Well, as much as he can. It says here on my teleprompter, Greg Abbott's an asshole. And blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So he was pushing this lie. And finally, the Texas agency went to the administration and was like, hey, dipshits, here's the story. And finally, the DOJ came out with the correction and the truth. Not only did the mom and kids die on the Mexican side of things, but by the time they had called over and notified first the Texas border agents and then the federals, it was an hour after the bodies had been recovered.
Yep.
This is how sideways the story got. And yesterday, this was blasted all across the news spectrum.
The
NPR
whole
picked it up, and all of the other, the syndicates and all this. And Greg Abbott's killing Mexican people at the border. And most of these are accompanied with the picture of the floating barricade and razor wire.
Oh, yeah.
That death trap that he was setting up. And like the correction is like as muted as like new information has come across here that it's like, asshole, you just accused a state agency of murder. Don't you think maybe having the facts in line?
Yeah, they accused Abbott himself of committing murder. I mean,
Greg Abbott and his border agency in Texas led to the death of a mother and two children. And it's like, facts. How about the facts? Do you have those? Or are you just taking this? This was no different. I put this on the exact same level of Israel bombs a hospital in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
This is just news agencies running with horseshit speculation stories.
No,
The
and
same journalists that are opposed to misinformation, by the way. That's the worst
Yeah.
thing you could possibly do is put out misinformation.
well, like, Al mentions in the chat, there are more than 600 people who have died in calendar year 2023 crossing the border, but they don't mention those. They mention these because these are the ones that happened after that law went into effect and after the Border Patrol was pulled back. And people were not allowed to cross. And I'm like, I'm sorry, show me where it says anywhere that you can just come through our border. No questions asked. We don't know. There is a process to come through legally. There's a process to claim asylum. I get that. But the thing is, the people that are coming through here are not claiming asylum at the first country they come to. And that's a big issue. And everybody seems to forget that. There are ports of entry where you can actually go to claim asylum. They're not doing that. They're not going through the ports of entry. But the media doesn't tell you that. The media doesn't cover that.
No, and that's my point of interest in all this is the administration is clearly pushing for this open border policy, and the media is not only permitting it, like not going after Biden, but how dare anybody try to enforce our laws?
This is what I find interesting. As we all know, the European Union instituted an open borders thing that was completely disastrous. Well, Spain was not really happy about that. Did you know that the wall in Spain that prevents people from crossing the strait right there, it is an extremely tall wall, but guess what the guards that are at the top of the wall do? If you manage to climb up there, they push you off. Literally, you fall 30, 40, 50 feet into the rocks below. They have no compassion. They're like, no, this is our job. Your job is to not come in, and our job is to make sure that you don't come in. You don't hear anybody talking about that. In Mexico, their law specifically says that anybody that's coming into Mexico to seek asylum must be turned back. They don't even give you a bottle of water. They just force you, they turn you around and go back. However, because of the influx, they have managed to make it convenient to ship them northward. But they have to find their own way. They'll let them go with the condition that you find your way to get into the United States. But that's the way it was, in Mexico. And you go almost anywhere in South America, and they have walls. They have strict laws about you coming in illegally. And some of them the laws are very strict. Let's just be diplomatic. They're not going to push you off a ravine that's 30 or 40 feet down, but they might, so depending on where you're crossing, it's amazing to me. And you have our neighbors to the north, Canadians, saying how evil we are for not allowing people to come into our country. But they're the same people that say, oh no, you can't come into our country either. Okay? They're a little hostile about coming in illegally as well. So, but
it just astounds me that our federal government is suing states for enforcing the border, and the media is cool with that and aggressive towards the states that are seeking out their own best interest.
Well, it's gotten to the point where, our border is not being reinforced. However, our border ends in El Paso, and from there it becomes New Mexico. And New Mexico is rather lax about whoever comes in. What they do is they come in and then they try to come into Texas through that, the corner that makes the Panhandle and the hand that where El Paso is, the Carlsbad Caverns area and all that. So
Sure.
they,
I mean, you cross over here and people are like, oh, we made it to America. Where am I? New Mexico.
no, that's
Oh,
still not America.
is it?
To them, it's not America, believe it or not.
How do you say
But
east in English? That's where I
yeah,
want to go.
so they try to come in that way, and there is the National Guard has been dispatched to those areas as well, because they, you know, there was no need before to do that. But Abbott is like, no, this is, and everybody says, I can't believe that you're being so inhumane as to ship them out of Texas. And I'm like, you have to understand, by law, we cannot force them to go anywhere. That's our law, not the federal law, our law. We ask them where they want to go. Most of them decide to stay here in Texas, believe it or not. But a lot of them actually want to go to places where they have family.
But
So
when they say this, how is it not inhumane for them to remain in Texas after coming here illegally?
that doesn't count.
Like,
According to the left, that doesn't count.
what is the inhumane aspect of shipping them to Chicago or something outside of the fact that
There is no inhumanity
you don't want to live on
factor.
the southwest side of
They
Chicago?
don't want
That
them
can be
there
inhumane.
because that's where the liberals live. The liberals don't want
Yeah.
the influx of immigration. They want the red states to hurt. They don't want the blue states to hurt. Now, California and New Mexico are completely different. But the rest of the red states, that's where they want the pain. And that this is, and people are always talking about, it's like, how could you send them to New York? I'm going, we're only sending them to places that are sanctuary cities. And that's another thing. There's a list. And we ask, these are some of the places that we can take you to. And we pay for it, and we give them food, we give them water, we give them clothing, we give them shelter while they're still here. And if they decide to go to one of the list of places that are listed as sanctuary cities, because we will not send them to places that are not sanctuary cities, then, they'll get on a bus or on a plane and go. And now you have Eric, what's his name, over in New York saying, any buses that come in here, blah, 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 they get ticketed or fined or whatever, fine. So we're dropping them in New Jersey. And
But
then they're
how's
taking
that
the bus
not
in.
inhumane? See, that's the thing is
New Jersey is literally a sanctuary state. So
I know, but
we can drop
if
them
it's
off there.
inhumane to send them to New York, why is it not inhumane for New York to send them to Jersey? This is the Martha's Vineyard thing all over again, where they put up posters like, we welcome any resident from foreign countries in our city. Here you go. We didn't mean that, and then they ship them out to an Air Force base or something. And well, we gave them generic cereal that was out of date that we found over at the clubhouse. Aren't we wonderful?
Yeah, it was Martha's Vineyard opened the eyes to a lot of people as to how hypocritical the liberals in sanctuary cities really are. I have family that lives in New York City, and they are very supportive of the whole sanctuary city status, and they have volunteered to help, to feed them and to help them as they come and everything. I mean, they really are. They put their money where their mouth is. They walk the walk.
Well, this is what when I was writing my year-end stuff.
But I find it interesting, that they know a lot of people, and they have told me this. They know a lot of people that are for sanctuary cities, but they don't want these kind of people in their sanctuary cities.
Yes.
And my relative, two of my cousins were like, I can't believe they actually freaked out because it was their friends. And they were like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but that's not a real friend. I mean, I would actually.
We already have a landscaper we can't talk to, so we're good.
That kind of, they were really surprised. And and that hypocrisy is, it It's
Well,
not
it's just-
just for the
It's the
illegal
condescending
immigrants.
bullshit that's attached to it that gets to me, because when they announce, "Oh, we're a sanctuary city, unlike you cruel and heartless red cities. We love having people in here. We're better than you." Cool. Here you go.
Well, then
How
here,
dare
you
you
do.
do this? You're inhumane. It's make them live by the standards they profess to, and they lose their
Oh,
ever-loving mind. And
Maine is absolutely losing their shit right now.
well, no,
They're
I was going to bring this up because one of the journalists I covered, I think his name was Eric Levine. This is the asshole that was, he was parsing the words of beheaded
Mhm.
when the Israel attacks took place. Like, a lot of
Yes.
people are using beheaded pretty freely, but when you actually look at it, I was like, wait a second, are you really doing, just because they found people with severed skulls disconnected from their body, that doesn't mean they were beheaded. What else does it mean? Genius, but this is a guy, this is literally one of these people that were marinated in college culture, because I'm reading through some of his passages, end of the year, doing my research like I do. And he wrote what had to be like a 2,000-word dissertation on a communist that was proposing why it's a good thing if Americans have fewer bananas in a socialist city. And I was like, you didn't seriously write this article, did you? Sure as hell he did. Like, they were talking about how it's problematic that people going to work can stop in a 7-Eleven and have fresh bananas available to them at the counter, unaware of the hardship this creates in the third world countries where these were cultivated. And what are you? So you're proposing socialism as a solution so we have fewer bananas in this country, is your point. This guy. One of his other articles I found, though, was proposing a solution to our immigration problem is for the government to build a free housing for the new arrivals.
Uh-huh.
I live here. Can I get free housing? Or do I have to break a law first? I mean, how does that work? One. Two, your solution to too many people coming to the country is to give them free room and board. That's going to stem the problem, won't it? You stunted idiots. Stumps. And so, I add them to my list, of course, and include all this. And then I come to find out in Maine, they are doing just that.
Yep.
They are building public housing to give to illegal immigrants.
They get 2 years free rent.
Oh, there's a deadline.
There's a deadline, 2 years. But you know that they might extend that. And I'm like, I just don't know. You can't educate government.
You people are overselling it. Okay, look, we give them basic cable. They don't get HBO. That kind of crap. So you're telling me that somebody that was living in a hovel on the side of a mountain with a tin shack can illegally cross into the country and be given free housing? Okay. Of course, the downside of it is they have to live in Maine.
True. And, and it was funny because there was somebody put out a tweet. I want to say it was Fusili Spock, but, some of the illegal immigrants were complaining about how cold it was in the United States. I'm like, there's a cure for that. You could just leave.
It's like we're supposed to care.
You have the possibility that Chicago may actually go purple or even pink because of this situation. Because people are so fed up because they felt that their benefits were taken away to give to people who aren't even legal citizens of the U.S. Now, keep in mind, they're not fed up that their tax-paying money is going to these people. No, they're upset that the money that was given to them by taxpayers is now being taken away and given to them, to the illegals.
It's not fair to give them free stuff. You're supposed to give me
Those
free
are
stuff.
our benefits because we're the citizens. And I can totally see this argument. This argument actually has value. It's true. They are citizens. Why are we taking away benefits that we told them they could have and giving them to people who come here illegally? Oh, and that's another thing. Somebody was screaming about you can't call them illegals, that they don't commit crimes when they come here. I'm like, literally, by crossing the border, they're committing crime. That's the definition of illegal immigration.
Well, this is actually...
I think that was Haley that said it.
Yeah, Haley's one of those that you just let her keep talking and get out of the way. She's going to do her own dirty work for herself. But during the... yesterday was the Iowa caucus. The media coverage was rather unique about it. I saw not one, but like Jake Tapper especially said that, well, this is the part that cracks me up. Donald Trump is declared the winner, so he's coming out to give his speech. This is, by all former measure in media, a historic moment. CNN decides to cut away from his speech. Cut to the studio to Jake Tapper because he's got more important things to say than the former president of the United States. And, and I swear, Jake this is a guy I literally want to sit down in a bar with. Not to have fun and frivolity, but like an empty bar at 2:00 in the afternoon, give him a drink and it's like, Jake, what in the living hell is the problem? Seriously. Because
the problem is Trump. He got broken. He used to be very even keeled. Even as he admit that he was liberal, he was still even keeled. And then Trump came along.
But at times it still comes out. Like when
every so often, yeah.
When the Israel thing broke, he was pretty adamant. He's like, no, this is terrorism. Okay, you can't sugarcoat this when they're killing 1,600 citizens. This is wrong. Yes, Jake, where you been? Thanks, dude. And then as soon as Trump comes up, he loses his ever-loving mind. So last night, he's there declaring after not letting him, bear in mind, not letting him talk. Historical moment. Yet the time when he was leaving Mar-a-Lago to go to New York to go to his arraignment up there, CNN had live coverage for hours. Camera trained on the front gates. Cars are emerging from the property. We're on the case here. And then they had a helicopter following the cars down the road. I'm watching this man commute. Literally, I'm like, what are we doing here? And there's Manu Raju. We're watching historic footage of Donald Trump driving. Well, he's not driving, he's in the back seat, but this is historical. He's driving to the airport. What the hell? What? And yet when Trump gives a speech, they have to cut away because of... So Jake Tapper says Donald Trump is against immigration. No, Jake. He's against illegal arrivals into the country. Criminal behavior. We would like to kind of stem that, And then on top of that, he basically, not in so many words, said the voters in Iowa were dumb sons of bitches. Literally, he said, I think he said the Caucus voters fell for or followed the lie or something like that. Well, they picked Donald Trump. They are too stupid to realize they're being lied to. It's like, damn, Jake, you're not handling that Philadelphia Eagles game very well, are you, buddy?
No, apparently he did not. I think Kelsey retiring actually made him tip over. I think that's what sent him over the edge.
Unbelievable. And then, of course, at MSNBC, ever-loving minds were just they seemed surprised and shocked that Donald Trump won. Like when they were calling the caucus for him, like Rachel Maddow was like beside herself and unable. She's like, "This is just. Can you We're voting for authoritarianism. Who's going to be an authoritarian?
It's always
Calm
that.
down, honey.
It's
Just
always authoritarianism. We're all going to die.
And I'm trying to figure out still I was reading the New York Times yesterday. Again, if Donald Trump is elected, he's going to murder his political opponents. Where is this coming from? Like, I know what MSNBC,
I
like
really
Joe
don't.
Scarborough says it on the regular, which means nothing. But
this hyperbole that they use constantly is so exhausting. I mean, how do you...
I have to wonder about their audience, because that's who they're pandering to. And I suppose there's enough wine moms out there and Manhattan sons of bitches that are just like, yeah, of course he's going to murder people. What else is he going to do? Joe Scarborough literally said, mark my words, Donald Trump, he's going to get elected, he's going to jail journalists, and then he's going to assassinate his opponents. Just check the record.
What record?
Like, I'm like, can we
I'm
pause
sorry,
for a
the only
moment?
people that are being jailed without any due process are the people that the Biden administration put into jail on J6.
Well, I was like, can we do that? Because I'm a little shocked that you didn't cover this before, Joe. If Donald Trump was murdering political opponents, I'm relatively certain that would have made the airwaves at MSNBC in some capacity.
Pretty sure that he would have gone to jail for something like that. Oh, look, he would have been prosecuted and jailed. I mean, murder, yeah, that's a big thing.
Seems like something I would have picked up on in his 4 years in office. And if the media missed out on this, come on, let's get to the bottom of this, Joey. But it's not just him. I've Maddow, of course, is spitting his nonsense out, and a few others. If Donald Trump, his authoritarian fascism will just come to reign.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things that Maddow comes out and says, we are not going to, we've thought long and hard about this, but we are not going to allow him, show him, speaking, because we do not wish to, telecast lies and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And I'm going, that's not your job. Your job is to actually report current events that are going on, regardless of whether or not somebody is lying, somebody's telling the truth. That's not for you to decide. That's for us to decide. And
the other thing, too, is Rachel Maddow saying, at our network, we don't promote lies. Oh, is that a brand new policy today?
It was beautiful. I was like, you kidding, right?
This is the woman, mind you, I gave her a special award this year. She actually, this was a serious report. She put this out there. There's a gun manufacturer making assault weapons for babies. And I first saw this. I'm like, come on, surely she's doing like a little gag of a segment and she's like dead on serious looking at the camera. It's called the JR-15 and this is an assault weapon. Toddlers can use this. Yes, there's a manufacturer making guns for babies. And if we're a nation where babies are going to have guns, and she's going off on this tangent, and I'm like, are you, what?
How?
I kept waiting for like the punchline or, like for her to lean back and do her little patented chuckle or something. You're like, you know what we mean? No, she was like beside herself and there was footage and it was a .22 caliber rifle. And I'm sorry, I have experience around young ones. Pretty damn sure if baby that could just stand up held one of these guns, they'd tip over.
Yeah.
As they're, made for 12 and 14-year-olds, training guns that have been around, by the way, for generations there, Rachel. Just, it's not a new thing. But her network doesn't lie.
Yeah, okay. I was
Donald
still
Trump
looking.
has killed people in the past, and they're making guns for babies. But here at MSNBC, we never lie.
Nope. They never lie. But see, that's
So yeah, Trump won the caucus to the shock and surprise of nobody,
nobody.
regardless of the histrionics at MSNBC. Ron DeSantis, I'd say, did all right. Got what, 23%, something like that.
I think it was like a little under 22.
And Nikki Haley just around 20%. Although she thinks she came in second.
Yeah, her math did not check out. And I say this as somebody who is not a fan of math. Math and I do not get along, but I'm pretty sure her math was wrong. Pretty sure. 90% sure her math is wrong.
Yeah, I'm. It's kind of funny. As much as I hate math, and yet I can do statistics and sports without a problem. It's just one of those things. But yes, that's a bit of a struggle. She's like, yeah, now it's a 2-person race after this fantastic result by me. It's like, okay, you're in the money, but you didn't win. Okay, I'm going to take you to Churchill Downs and show you how this works. So that was a little bit of comedy there, and Vivek has dropped out. I'm really kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with him. Because I got to be honest, I'm loving what he's doing with the media the last month.
Yeah, he's been really good.
He has been taking these journalists to the woodshed. And
I would not be surprised if he is promised press secretary. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I've kind of lobbied for that, but I don't know that he would go for it. Although he might, it's we could hope for it. I would like to see him as Ron DeSantis press secretary. That'd be pretty cool. Or at least running the press office. That would work for me. But yeah, it's just some of the ways he's been tying the media knots the last few weeks have been just brilliant. And it's just, and the way he does it, he's just calm. He's just like, listen, hey, you guys have said this. How do you respond to it? And he's not getting angry, raising his voice or anything. And did you see that interview we did with Dasha Burns?
I saw part of it, yeah.
She became unraveled on camera.
It
She's
was
like leaning
it was
and arguing
epic.
with him. And hey, you can't say that because we're, and he's just like, this is your
That's
words,
me.
not mine. and I'm watching thinking, isn't this an interview? But it looks really more like a debate. And she's losing, by the way. Too much comedy right there. But it's just the way things are anymore. But this is our press corps. This is what we have to deal with. Well, we've got some other news going on of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Some global happenings and such.
We went.
Let's see.
You know what I decided to do, Brad? I decided to have a little bit of Prosecco tonight.
I was just about to. Did you happen to make it in a prison toilet?
No, I
by
did
chance?
not.
Okay, good.
I came out of a bottle.
You're a classy type broad. I like that.
I'm a classy broad.
I bring that up because there was apparently a little bit of a conflagration of sorts, a dust up in an Italian lockup. I didn't realize this. It was a juvenile prison. But
Even better. This is even better. This gets better every single time.
So it turns out inmates in this prison started a fire in one of the cells. They became very irate with the warden and with the enforcement officials inside this prison. Yes, the prisoners were upset. Were they beating people? Were they, preventing them from television time? What was going on here? No, it was, turns out, New Year's Eve, apparently everybody was entitled to a serving of Prosecco to celebrate the incoming new year. But the inmates became upset because the ration at which they were given was smaller than anticipated. Two prison officers were hospitalized.
These
Smoke
people take
inhalation.
their Prosecco seriously.
I don't know. I might almost be embarrassed, but again, haven't been in prison, so maybe prosecco would be something.
Well,
I'd
I
love
mean,
to
think
have.
about it. If you live in there and you are promised a tipple, and instead of a flute, which is the normal standard, I want to say it's 5 ounces for prosecco, and instead you get 2 ounces. Yeah, I'd be upset too.
Well, I'll have you just ruined it for next New Year's.
Oh, I guess I did. I'm putting you on warning.
If this is the way you prisoners are going to behave, then there'll be no prosecco next year.
But yeah, it's kind of weird that they would actually acquiesce and have a serving of prosecco to celebrate the new year while you're in prison. There's a lot to unpack here, because you would think that in prison, I don't know, you would not be given any perks.
Well, this is what I love. They're saying that, and this is kind of when you want to punch a journalist. Some wine producers have utilized the oenological abilities of shit.
Whatever.
But basically, they're using prison labor to make wine. I'd see problems here. I'm just.
It's yeah.
Seems like a bad formula to me. Case in point, give them 2 ounces of prosecco and they lose their ever-loving minds. Lesson learned there. Next year it's expired white Welch's grape juice, and you're going to be happy.
And you will like it.
No, we'll give you a cocktail straw. You can blow into it and make your own bubbles. How about that? Think about that next time you want to go paint something on the side of your school.
I can honestly see how it is that they would use prisoners to work in vineyards, but not in past the point of, I think, only for collecting and for pruning the vines and for taking care of the actual grapevines and that kind of thing. I can see it, but not in the vats and not in places where they could come near actual bottles of
Yeah, I think once you get to the bottling stage, that's when I might remove
I would not
incarcerated participation in the oenological piece of that. Well, only because you and I are deeply professional in our endeavors here in broadcasting, I feel that we have to address an update on a prior story we covered here on the show. Got some fantastic news to report from NASA.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
NASA has managed to open their own capsule.
How long have they been trying to pry that thing open?
Too stubborn. This is the one about the, about 4 weeks ago we covered this?
Yes. Yeah. They got the capsule back that had landed on the comet. And
took
had
samples, returned to Earth, and they couldn't get the damn thing open.
Yeah, they couldn't extract they couldn't open it. And I'm like, isn't the first rule of building something knowing how to open it? I mean, I don't know. I was at a loss. I could not understand why they didn't do this, but
this
I'm
was
not
the
one who works for NASA. So
OSIRIS-REx mission traveled 4 billion miles to collect 2.5 ounces of rocks and dust from the comet. That's nothing.
Yeah, Jeff actually covered this on Lost Wonder, and honestly, I'm still stunned. How does this happen? I mean,
this was in October when
I'm not
the
an
capsule
engineer.
returned to the Nevada desert, and they couldn't get the thing open.
But like I said, I'm not an engineer. I'm definitely not. I don't design mechanical things or anything like that. But hell, I know how to use a can opener, And a can opener, I mean, when people devised cans, they figured out how to open them before marketing them to thousands of people.
And look, I mean, I
This makes
understand
no
that they
sense.
have like some proprietary tools and fasteners and such, and this is all because of contaminants and all that. But wouldn't you, I don't know, contingency or something? Like if it doesn't open, we could. This thing had 35 fasteners, and 2 of them would not detach proper. So the prying mechanism failed them. And the 70 grams of samples remained that far out of reach. But hey, they got it open. They were talking about sometime in spring before they'd be able to do this. So apparently they found a way to pop it open. Get a
Somebody put the
Sawzall.
hammer to it.
But
I would have suggested that, because I'm a smart ass, but
Sure. This we know. But I just think it goes to show you that scientists are stupid. And I've got proof.
okay.
The researchers have been up in the Siberian area, northeast region, no less. I'm guessing these are people with no social life.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
this part
you
of the
kinda have
world
to.
you're going to do work in. Yeah, your end's about as antisocial as it gets. Northeastern Siberia, not southern. That's where you go to vacation. They're rooting around in the permafrost up there, and they came up with some specimens that they found in the permafrost.
Oh, Lord.
Not exactly sure how to pronounce this. The bedyloid rotifer is what they've come up with.
Mhm.
A little bit of a tiny freshwater creature. It's very small. It's like they measure it in micrometers, smaller than the thickness of a piece of paper, that kind of crap. It thing's tiny. Nonetheless, they managed to pull this out of the permafrost and rejuvenate it, bring it back to life after 24,000 years.
Now, I'm just going to say this again. We all saw this movie, and it does not end well. Why do people do this continually?
It's like 24,000 years. You're going to bring this back to life. There's a reason.
It died. It's just like it. Where's Dr. Malcolm? I need the Dr. Malcolm gif. That's what I do.
Spent so much time wondering if you could. Yeah.
Exactly.
And they just keep doing this. It's like every so often you see these stories come out. Hey, they found these viruses from 10,000 years ago. And it's like, dude, did COVID not teach you anything?
Oh, no, that was just a one-off from a wet market. I'm serious. There are people that still think that. So, and no, they will continue to do this. And you and I both discussed this. Scientists have a God complex. They really do. They think that way. And the closest I ever came to somebody having that kind of a complex was a heart surgeon that worked over at Fort Sam. And he honestly thought he was godlike, that kind of thing. He was a very difficult person to work with. No one liked him. But, and I remember one of the heart surgeons back home was the same way. There was a woman, she was 98 and she was coding, and he kept wanting to bring her back. And I'm like, why? She's 98. She's done. But I couldn't say that. But yeah, scientists have that same godlike complex. And when they have an opportunity to do something that nobody's done before, they'll take it. And most of the time, it doesn't end well. So
This is all you need to read in order to understand just how screwed up and sideways this was. Not only did the animal come back to life from its frozen stasis, it also successfully cloned itself multiple times through asexual reproduction.
great.
Kill
It's
it
getting
with
bigger.
fire right now.
It's almost like they've never watched a science fiction movie. The Thing comes to mind. Life. That's the word. That movie pissed me off so much I cannot even begin to tell you, because they were doing this same shit. They found a frozen organism on Mars and they decided to bring it back to life. Sound familiar? And it started getting bigger and procreating. Yeah, okay, I'm done here. Kill it with fire. It's just, it never ceases to amaze me. Human nature is beautiful and complex, but it's very regimented in certain ways, in certain pathways that it takes.
I find it fascinating. Sometimes they'll come across, like they'll dig up in permafrost, like a perfectly preserved mammal of some sort. Like about a year ago, they found a ancient species of gray wolf puppy that was,
yes,
dug up. And I think somewhere in Siberia, they found a prehistoric horse foal that had fallen and was perfectly preserved too. And you could study that. That's cool. Okay, now you're learning about the past a bit. You're not regenerating it.
No.
And idiots.
And
idiots.
I mean, this is, I have a really big issue when it comes to the evolutionary paths that we as human beings try to divert, and the limbs that we try to keep attached to the tree with baling twine and bazooka gum. Seriously, it just drives me nuts. Case in point, back in the 90s, there were 3 species of cookies in Puerto Rico that were extremely endangered. They were going to die off. And the island spent so much money trying to save these 3 species. And I'm like, reading about their dietary habits, when they ate, how they digested, all this stuff. Everything said, yeah, these 3 species have come to their evolutionary end because they were not digesting food anymore. You couldn't stop them from dying. Okay, it was a done deal, and these scientists refused to acknowledge that. And then when they died, Puerto Rico was like, well, what do we do now? And I'm like, what you should have done was let them die, save the money to save the ones that you could save.
Yeah.
But no,
this is the old argument too about pandas. Those things would not survive in the wild today. Period.
No.
They are so specific in what they eat. Their gestation period is 2 years or something like that.
You have no idea how much the panda pisses me off. No idea. None. You know what? I will die on that hill and take the last fucking panda with me, because those things should have died decades ago. But no, we keep throwing money at that problem.
I mean, they have to artificially inseminate them, and then I think when they're born, then they have to teach them how to care for their...
You have to teach them to have sex.
Yeah,
you have to actually... The gestation period is over 2 years. And then, they only eat one type of bamboo. It's not bamboo that they eat. It's one type of bamboo that grows in one area, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm like, there was a genetic anomaly that happened hundreds of years ago, I'm guessing, and it's now come to pass that it became dominant, and I'm sorry, it is time for you to go. Bye-bye. The panda bear provides absolutely nothing to its environment. No,
I think
it has no.
Koalas pretty much in the same boat.
No, koalas are actually different. because they can have sex and they have children. They may only eat eucalyptus, but they eat different types of eucalyptus. But they also eat other things.
Don't they sleep like 20 hours a day? And
yeah, so do lions. And they manage.
Yeah, but lions actually take care of the food supply. It's like,
no, the lionesses do. The lions do not.
All right.
Listen, I studied this shit.
Listen.
All I'm saying is,
go back to your job at Harvard as president. If you're gonna...
I do a better job.
Exactly. Well, I think we're hitting top of the hour here, so we should probably wrap, huh?
Well, okay, so you go first. Take a deep breath and tell us where we can find you.
Excuse me, I was just finishing my Prosecco. Well, you can find me over at townhall.com daily with my media column there called Rift from the Headlines, as well as on the front page of Red State, where I also have my twice weekly podcast called Liable Sources, where I continue to rip a new orifice into the media complex of this country because, damn it, they just keep deserving it. And you can hear more of me on this very network. Thursday night, it's going to be me and Paul Young from ScreenRant.com as we guide you through the dark side of Hollywood and bad movies with disasters in the making. And this week, a true disaster film. How about that? We're tying it in with the Icelandic volcano activity going on.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
We're tying it into current events for our first episode of the year. Also, on alternate Thursdays, I'm here with Ordy Packard as we guide you through all of the important entertainment information for your entertainment's sake on the Culture Shift, and of course every Tuesday evening at 8:30 with you. And then if you need more of me than that, and let's face it, you head over to Jitter, and I am at Martini Shark. How about yourself? Where can people find more of your magnificence?
I have no magnificence, but you can find me at Aggie Rican and at Aggie the Barkeep over on X. You can also find me 8:30 p.m. Eastern Tuesday nights doing the Cocktail Lounge with you. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Friday nights doing He Said, She Said with Rick of late. That has been a lot of fun. And once a month, last Wednesday of every month, at 8 p.m. Eastern, we do Toxic Masculinity, where Rick, Ordy, and G get together, and I bring the drinks for the Babe of the Month. And I have started our new venture, Spirited Books Podcast. It premieres every second Monday of every month on Aggie time as well, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So
we should update the schedule to say Aggie time for anything that starts at that time.
I actually have Aggie time. This is so great. Anyway, our next episode should be coming up mid-February, so that should be fun. Right before Lent. So I'll probably be drinking during that episode just to make up for the fact that I won't be drinking on the next one.
And despite her protestations to the contrary, Aggie has loads of awesomeness and stuff, so... Just saying.
You're so kind. Too kind.
Well, I had to make up for calling you Litting Jane Goodall in the chat. So.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope you have a lovely evening tonight.
Go raise a glass and look at the ceiling.